Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 4.
Good looking afternoon, transitioning into a gorgeous Thursday evening. But what about that weekend forecast? I've got you covered in just a moment.
Perimeter fencing around the White House comes under more scrutiny after a man makes it onto the North Lawn. I'm Craig Boswell at the White House. That story coming up.
Welcome to WKYT News at 4. I'm Jennifer Palumbo. After a cold start to the day, it's turned into a nice afternoon. But our cold spot this morning was Campbellsville at 32. The warm spot was Winchester at 47. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey joins us now. And Chris, why is such a big temperature swing this morning?
We had clouds out there into parts of the area, Jennifer, that resulting in that 15-degree temperature spread in just a matter of miles throughout the region. Clear skies, you had frost clouds, you had temperatures stuck in the 40s. Everybody getting in on a little bit of late-day sunshine. Check out the numbers into the upper 50s and low 60s that are showing up now across most of central and eastern Kentucky. But our break in the clouds, well, it's temporary. More in the way of some high clouds now streaming in across parts of the Interstate 65 corridor. And by the way, still a little bit of cloud cover into far southeastern Kentucky. We're no longer worried about that system that is spiraling across the eastern seaboard. We have a weak area of high pressure that is on top of the region now. That's giving us the gorgeous afternoon. But look at the clouds streaming back into town. A couple of isolated showers along that weak boundary that is making its way toward the region. Now, we're going to try to keep the clouds at bay over the next couple of hours. We have a partial solar eclipse for you to get out and take advantage of. Starting at around 5:50, that'll go for about an hour, not a full eclipse. And obviously, you never want to look directly toward the sun, sunglasses or not. You got to have some kind of an instrument or maybe like a welder's mask to look at an eclipse like that. We'll try to show you that on our sky cam. If you're out this evening, Jennifer, temperatures slowly dropping into the low and mid 40s by the latter part of the evening. Back with that weekend forecast, which still looks pretty good here in just a bit.
Thank you, Chris. 3 people are now charged in connection to Lexington's latest murder. 19-year-old Nathan Miller, 20-year-old Savon Thompson, and a juvenile are all 3 charged with complicity to commit murder. Miller and the juvenile are behind bars this afternoon. Police are still looking for Thompson. They're accused in connection to the deadly shooting of Jeffrey Adams at an apartment complex in the Winburn area last week. Police believe it started with a drug deal. A grand jury will get the case of a UK football player accused of rape. Police arrested freshman Lloyd Tubman earlier this month. He's accused of raping a woman inside her residence hall. During today's preliminary hearing, the case was waived to the grand jury for possible indictment. Tubman is suspended from the UK football team and is free on a $10,000 bond. Frankfort police are trying to find out who's responsible for 2 armed robberies that happened within hours of each other. Just after 10 this morning, someone robbed the Advance America cash advance in the Eastwood Shopping Center. The clerk was in the store around 10 this morning when a man with a gun came in and demanded cash. And late last night, police say a nearby Penn Station was held up at gunpoint. Police do not believe the crimes are connected. Investigators are reviewing surveillance video of both robberies. We're working on a number of other stories for WKYT starting at 4:30. Amber Philpott is at the live desk with a look at some of the news in progress. Good afternoon, Amber.
Hello, Jennifer. Snow days won't mean classes are canceled for students in the Boyle County school system this year. They are one of 13 school districts in the state that have been approved by the Kentucky Department of Education to use alternate types of instruction because of the weather. This means classes can be held online using online learning systems. Coming up on WKYT News at 5, we'll break down exactly how this new virtual classroom is going to work. After falling nearly 3 weeks ago from the upper deck at Commonwealth Stadium at the UK-South Carolina game, a former football player is still recovering. Brad Durham was an offensive lineman for 4 years, starting in 2007 for UK. While on the upper deck of at the football game on October 4th, he fell 35 feet onto the lower level. Coming up on WKYT News at 5, you're going to hear from his father as Durham continues to make a recovery at Cardinal Hill. And more than 24 local and regional health and medical response agencies are meeting at the VA hospital in Lexington to discuss Ebola today. While there is absolutely no threat from the Ebola virus here in the state, they are preparing for the worst. Their goals are to increase understanding of the disease, prepare for patients, and identify signs of Ebola. We're going to have more on this meeting coming up for you on WKYT News at 6. That is a look at just some of the news that's in progress. Jennifer, back to you.
Thanks, Amber. Now to stories making headlines across the nation at 4. President Barack Obama was home last night when a young man jumped the fence at the White House. However, Secret Service agents responded quickly, and officials say the president was never in danger. Craig Boswell is at the White House with the latest.
At 7:15 Wednesday night, a 23-year-old Maryland man made it over the White House fence, but he didn't get very far. Secret Service agents and their dogs quickly took the intruder to the ground. Dominic Adesanya, who was unarmed, faces felony charges for assaulting police dogs and making threats. He is now in the custody of the U.S. Marshals for previous outstanding warrants. The dogs, Hurricane and Jordan, went to the vet for minor bruising and were cleared to return to duty.
What the Secret Service got right was the deployment of manpower, its layers of defense, and in this case, the dogs to actually prevent the fence jumper from getting too close to the White House and certainly not having to use lethal force.
Last month, 42-year-old Army veteran Omar Gonzalez made it into the White House, past a guard and the staircase leading to the first family's private residence before he was stopped. This is the 7th time this year someone has scaled the White House fence. Last month, the Secret Service added these temporary barriers as another layer of protection. The Gonzalez incident also led to an internal investigation of Secret Service procedures and the resignation of Director Julia Pearson. Joseph Clancy, the former head of President Obama's security detail, is now acting director. Craig Boswell, CBS News, the White House.
Tuesday, a federal judge delayed Omar Gonzalez's arraignment and ordered a mental health evaluation for the veteran to take place within the next month. The University of North Carolina has fired some employees after an investigation into an academic fraud scandal. UNC says it's either fired or disciplined 9 employees. A U.S. Justice Department investigation found more than 3,100 students, nearly half of them athletes, enrolled in classes they did not have to show up for. The investigation also found the students received artificially inflated grades for research papers.
We had one football counselor who actually would provide a list of the football players who would be taking one of her paper classes, along with the grades associated with each name that that counselor thought that student needed to remain eligible.
The University of North Carolina's president, Thomas Ross, has described the academic scandal as a horrible chapter in the history of a great university.